Good healthcare and education are fundamental factors that contribute to the growth and development of any country. In South Africa, the healthcare sector is challenged by several factors, two of the major ones being cost and accessibility. The key healthcare challenge in South Africa is to bridge the gap between a successful, world-class private sector and an overburdened public sector groaning under the weight of too many people and too little staffing. A daunting task that the relatively new Healthcare and Education Strategic Business Unit of the IDC has set itself, focusing more on healthcare as this seems to be where the needs are presently greater.
We've got a research unit here at IDC that every now and then researches the funding needs outside, and they came up with the healthcare as one of the things that people would like to see the IDC do. So that's how we got involved. Our key objectives is to encourage entrepreneurs in the private healthcare side of things too, because if we encourage a lot of entrepreneurs, then it alleviates the problem that the government has in trying to provide healthcare to everybody.
Because of the many people who are not covered by medical schemes, one of the priorities for this unit is to target and assist those who come up with low-cost options in terms of healthcare. These may be medical management concerns, pharmaceutical companies or large hospital groups, but the major thrust of their products would be to help bring down prices for the average patient. A busy doctor's waiting room in the township of Daveyton on the East Rand in Gauteng. This thriving practice is almost 30 years old, but a few years ago it was showing signs of collapse. For a variety of reasons, the people were moving out of the town, the doctors had problems coping with extra administrative demands, and the staff were demotivated. Until it was taken over by a medical management company, Medical Care Solutions. This company manages HIV/AIDS programs for companies, provides practice facilities for newly qualified doctors, and manages doctors' facilities and backroom operations such as claims. Here in Daveyton, it manages the practice and, through negotiating with the doctors, offers a product that the local people can afford, thus fitting in well with the IDC mandate.
They pay the normal doctor fees, but what we have done here is to go to what we call the prescribed minimum benefits list used by med schemes. That is what we use here because it saves them cost. Also, if you look behind me, you see that most of the medication here is your generics that we use. That come under that minimum prescribed benefits list. If we don't do that, it could be very expensive. So, recognizing this area, we then also discuss with the doctors to say, what kind of service can you offer at what price? So that we then offer people a service at a price that would not kill them, but also to ensure that the doctor can still deliver the service tomorrow.
The IDC believes that over and above the finance goes the umbrella of job creation. So, for this practice, which was on the verge of closing, the management company came up with a sustainable solution to alleviate poverty and unemployment.
These days, people are coming back to the practice because everybody is positive. They're now putting on uniform. They had stopped putting on uniform to show that they were disillusioned with the practice.
While its terms may be more favorable than a strictly commercial bank when granting a loan, the IDC also wants a return on its investment and makes sure it gets it by focusing on three major aspects: the technical knowledge, the marketing thrusts, as well as the sustainability of the business.
We look at the viability of the business plan. The business itself, is what you are saying making sense? Does it make business sense? If it doesn't, we do turn you away. But if it can be saved by adding A, B, and C, we advise you accordingly. That if we can have this in place, then we will assist. But we make sure that we are able to recover our money, because the main thing for us is to recover that money so that we can give it to other people as well.
One of the IDC's core strategies is providing risk capital to the widest range of industrial projects. In the healthcare environment, giving a loan to a startup pharmaceutical company fits this bill. Biotech Laboratories, a pharmaceutical manufacturing and distribution company, is the first subsidiary of a holding company called Africa Biopharma Investments. It has its own dossiers and is one of the several local pharmaceutical firms in South Africa battling it out in the generic markets.
if you look at commercial banks, it's very difficult for them to finance startups. That they make very clear of. And also part and parcel of some of their conditions, they've been, okay guys, we give you money, here are our rates, and we want to take a sizable amount of equity to run the company. So IDC came in handy because they could, one startup, there is absolutely no problem. And then they, I think as part of their mandate also, they were looking into those kind of small businesses and what have been building them up.
As in all the IDC strategic business units, the healthcare unit will not loan money until certain requirements have been met. And its innovative approach was clearly demonstrated in the case of the loan to this company, where the IDC became the learner in the field of pharmaceuticals.
My understanding was that IDC, the healthcare section of IDC was fairly new, was one of the newest when he came in. Fortunately, I came and made a presentation.
And even a worse challenge, in fact,
I would say, because I also found out that, I mean, things like what assets are important in the industry, in the pharmaceutical industry. And I talk about dossiers. I mean, those are dossiers, they are not tangible products. And they said, no, but can you walk us through this? How do we do this? So we had to convince them even via external consultants who consulted to them. We pointed them to consultants who have done evaluations of these things and given pricing to them. So I think it was also quite a challenge on their side, yes.
The IDC does not only invest in startups. The Blue Chip Brigade forms an important part of this development bank's portfolio, as in the case of the Life Healthcare Group. In a BEE deal worth millions, and one which took a couple of years to conclude, the IDC also threw its weight behind this innovative healthcare group.
We'd regard ourselves as probably one of their blue chip portfolio investments. We are more secure, we have a stable performance record over many years, and hopefully they regard this return as probably part of the better investments that they make. Hopefully use the money they make out of this investment to fund further investments in healthcare in South Africa, because it is a risky sector and we need companies like the IDC to facilitate that type of development and investment in more riskier environments.
One of the more risky innovations of this group, and one that the healthcare SBU is fully supportive of because of its extra service to patients, is the emphasis on post-trauma care. Fleming believes that many private healthcare facilities only look after a traumatic event in hospital, and Lifecare Health has attempted to broaden this service.
That's to say that we have a responsibility for delivery beyond the acute care bed. The quality of life and the rehabilitation to a better quality of life is equally as important as saving lives. And I think that sort of approach in that area, in cardiac areas, in diabetic areas, I think groups like ourselves need to play a more comprehensive role in the offering of services to the patients.
The thread running through all its investments, from low to very high end, is that of strict attention to financial details. What is also important is follow through on the different projects.
The good part of it is that we have what I would call a partner manager, somebody who would talk to me, interact with me and say, how are you doing? I also have to submit monthly reports to them in respect of what we are doing.
I think the IDC is very approachable. They listen, they understand your problems, they try to suggest different ways of going around it, and so on. And as I said already, they understand the issue of capital, that small businesses are small because they don't have capital.
They have at this stage left us to make the calls. Before the investment was made, they were extremely diligent in reviewing both the strategy and the core content of the business. So I think they're satisfied with what we are doing at the moment. I guess they'd be more worried if we branched off into a new arena with with rather big capital requirements. At this stage, I think they're quite satisfied with both the philosophy of our healthcare delivery and also the product offering that we have.
But for the latest kid on the SBU block, Lindy Liopeng believes that the work of the Healthcare and Education Unit has only just begun.
Looking forward, I think we haven't even scratched the surface, so there is a lot still to be done. There are many people who still need assistance and empowerment and everything. I mean, the charter is just coming out now in healthcare. We still have to get involved in attending to the needs of the charter. So there's still a lot to be done.